soul. Every fight out of control. Do it all to get them off their feet. Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa! My father said when I was younger, hard time free better man. You took it all away, I give it all away. You take my freedom, didn't change the game, a better man to play.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Off the Ropes, episode 7. It's your boy Brett Swinney. Alongside me is Kyle Owens. First thing, Kyle, let's flash back a little bit. A few months back, we decided to do this. It was going to be the Brett and KO show, and it's kind of like the Brady Bunch. It's expanded.
I love it. I love getting different viewpoints, different ideas, different thoughts. I love having the diversity that we got going in. It started with 2, and we just keep multiplying every week.
I know it's going to be like only like a 9-square thing on here, so just like the Brady Bunch. Let's speak into the bunch. Let's bring them in. We got Brandon Ogden and Matt Diggs with us. Hopefully, Jeremy Hubbard will also join us tonight. Welcome, fellas.
I got the Brady Bunch song in my head, so
I need
I'm
that
distracted.
I love that song.
Well, and we got our new drum roll. We got our new overlay with our new logo, top right corner, fellas. Got our new design with the Off the Ropes here. We're on Disrespect Sports Network. For those of you that are listening to us later, subscribe to our podcast platform. We're on all podcast platforms on the Disrespect Sports Network. Not only will you get Off the Ropes, but also hopefully have some That's So Dope podcast soon, and the Disrespect Sports Show, and many more things coming. So if you like more than just wrestling, you're in the right place. And we tend to get really disrespectful about WWE around here, so it really fits. And speaking of that, first thing I want to talk about before we get to Backlash, fellas, the World Heavyweight Championship. Okay, so remind me, fellas, we have Roman Reigns drafted to SmackDown. He takes both belts with him. This is supposed to be a Raw title, correct? But then we have a tournament with half of the field is SmackDown. This makes absolutely no sense at all.
Well, it's WWE, so it's not supposed to. If you don't think about it, it makes perfect sense.
That's right. We might have a last-second drafty over to Raw if the SmackDown. And I think it's kind of conceptualizing the way most people would expect it to. I bet we're probably going to see a Seth versus Edge kind of match at Night of Champions, and at that point, anything is open.
They should have let the 3 free agents do like a show, a match on main event, and make it a triple threat. Let someone win do a show main event. Brock against Baron Corbin against someone.
Well, at this point, why don't we just add? We should have done 3 Raw, 3 SmackDown, 3 NXT, and 3 free agents. I mean,
oh yeah, definitely.
But I don't know. I just wanted to voice my grievances about that. I think that's stupid. I mean, I guess they're going to continue the Brock Cody thing for another 3 months. We're going to beat each other up 18 times. I don't know. I guess this is WWE's way of keeping Cody Rhodes busy so they can drag out him coming back up to the top later. But y'all talked about when they released the little picture, and they didn't really release who they were going to fight until later. Then I was like, oh, they're gonna run Seth and Cody back again. That's way too. And then once Brock came out, I was like, oh, okay, they never were going that direction. They're gonna go more Brock and Cody, which the match was fine, but I was ready to him to move on from that. But I guess they're not.
And it's amazing how they've gone to lengths to protect him, because it's almost as if the whole triple threat concept was to protect Cody from having to take a pin in this tournament while avoiding Seth versus Cody one more time.
But yeah, I actually liked it because when this came out, it was when they announced the belt, it was a foregone conclusion that Cody was like, oh, he's going to take the and they're just going to give Cody this other title. It's not going to mean it's going to seem kind of cheap. Well, now it's kind of interesting because now because you thought, oh, Cody's going to win. Well, then now they do that. Now it adds a little more intrigue, even if you don't like the Cody Brock storyline.
Yeah, I think I think it's Cody's champion, or it was going to be Cody's championship to win. I think it's Seth's championship to win now because they got to get Cody back to Roman to finish his story. But again, it was the most predictable booking you could have to have Cody in that triple threat. You knew he wasn't going to take the pin. You knew Brock was going to get involved somehow. So, I mean, it was kind of predictable, but at the end of the night, I think we got the outcome that we all knew was going to happen, which is Seth going on to Night of Champions.
I'm going to disagree with you, KO, on one thing. Because Brock is such a part-timer, I was not expecting him to come back. I thought he'd be going off till SummerSlam. So when Brock came back and laid Cody out, I was a little surprised because this is the most we've seen Brock in a while. I mean, Brock does not do show after show after show, and we've had him quite a bit over the last couple of months, including WrestleMania. So maybe they're trying to get all of his appearances out of the way early in the contract, but I was personally shocked.
Well, is it because they got the Saudi show? Is that why?
That's what I was about to say. They got Saudi coming up. The Prince has to have Brock over there. You have to have those big names. So
he's going to pay well, so he's going to be there.
Exactly. Brock's there for the payday. That was my. I see what you're saying. That was my thing though. Is that there's a big payday coming up in 3 weeks that they're not going to let Brock miss out on that. So I hope. I heard what you said at the start, Brett, but I hope that this second match with Brock and Cody at Night of Champions kind of finishes things, and Cody can focus on Roman, maybe Cody Roman at SummerSlam.
Oh, I hope so too. I just know how it goes. You know, we got to rematch it 18 times. You know,
I know. I'm hoping that they get it out of their system at Night of Champions so we can move on and not see Brock and Cody go at it again. But I don't have high hopes for that.
Now let me ask you, KO, if they said that they keep referring to this as a fight, if they put this in the fight pit, are you more interested?
Yeah. I mean, if it's a no DQ, even if it's a street fight or even a steel cage match, any stipulation. Here's the thing: it needs to be a stipulation. The show is Night of Champions. This has nothing to do with the championship. So in order for it to be on the premium live event, it needs to be a stipulation, whether it be a last man standing, steel cage, fight pit. There needs to be something going on. But the way that they keep using that word fight, I want to fight. I could see a fight pit happening between Brock and Cody, and that would interest me a little more than just a normal one-on-one match between the two.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about the final results here. I don't know if y'all have looked to see how y'all did.
We don't need to. We could skip over this part.
I know why you want to skip over this part, dead last KO. But anyway, we had Matt and Jeremy had 6 out of 7. So nobody had the 6-man tag correct. We all missed that one, and I guess it's to extend the storyline out, and we'll talk about it. I had 5, and Brendan had 5, and Kyle had 4. So that's kind of the way it worked out. So shout out to Matt, and Jeremy got his picks in. They were legal. He just barely got them in time, but he got them in. So if he comes in, we'll give him some props there. What match do y'all want to start with? You want to start the card?
Yeah, let's go with the card.
Yeah.
All right. So we started the night with I guess it was the
Bianca, right?
Bianca
Io
and
Sky.
Yeah. This is the one that got you, Kevin Owens. I mean, Kyle Owens. I'm gonna get Kevin Owens going before the night's over. I'm on that trending hashtag Kevin Owens on our show. Maybe we'll get some views.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I thought Io. I just thought it was time for Bianca to give up the title.
She's got the 400 days now.
Yeah. But you could tell the crowd was very pro Io in Puerto Rico. First off, the crowd the whole night, chef's kiss. They were phenomenal. That Puerto Rico crowd was outstanding. Love that. But they were very pro EO throughout the night. So I kind of thought maybe WWE would go with the crowd reaction and give EO the championship, but Bailey had to come out and ruin it for EO. So that's building the storyline between Damage Control. So I see what they're doing. I thought that it was a good time to take the title off Bianca. Evidently not yet, but I think her title reign is going to come to an end soon. I'm predicting SummerSlam, it comes to an end. I don't know against who, but I think it comes to an end.
Were you shocked, Brandon, about kind of? I was shocked that they started turning on Belair, and I wonder if we're going to start to see this in some of the more passionate crowds like Chicago and whatnot. That maybe Bianca has, obviously it's not going to be in Knoxville this Friday or anything like that, but maybe to the mainstream fans, she's lost her luster.
Yeah, and we talked probably about 2 or 3 episodes ago about how I think it was probably before Mania. I could maybe see a Bianca turn, but some of the pushback is she had she's had that big crowd behind her that you didn't want to turn her, and then you don't have that person to get behind. It should become somewhat like the new, the women's John Cena that people had kind of got behind, and so you didn't really want to take that away because she had been someone could root for. But it would be fun to see her kind of go back to that heel like we kind of talked in NXT, and maybe that comes soon if the crowd keeps winning, the crowd keeps kind of like you said, turn. But we'll see if that was just in Puerto Rico or if that continues after, like you said, after Knoxville.
Well, with Io Sky, I always thought it was going to be Bailey that was kicked out. But now do we think that Io Sky possibly gets kicked out by Dakota Kai and Bailey?
I just want them all to split. I want it to be a 3-way turn.
Dakota needs somebody. Io proved that she's a star and she can wrestle against anybody. But Dakota has always needed somebody. Even when you go back to NXT, and Tegan Knox, she's always needed that one person with her. So I could see them turning this into spinning off Io instead of the 2 NXT stars spinning Bailey out of there. But it's going to take a little bit for Dakota to stand on her own, and I just don't, even with her performance since SummerSlam, I don't see her being an independent star quite yet.
I think it's setting up for Io and Bailey to have a match, probably at SummerSlam, or maybe Money in the Bank. I keep saying it's SummerSlam. That's the next big paper. Money in the Bank, maybe, where I think Io and Bailey have a match because Io realizes Bailey cost her that match against Bianca. So I think going back, we're going to start to see the dissension in the ranks between Damage Control, and I think eventually it's going to lead to an Io and Bailey match. Now, what happens with Dakota? I would recommend getting the titles off of Raquel and Liv and teaming Dakota and Raquel back up because they were a very good tag team in NXT. They had a nice tag run and they had a nice rivalry going. That's who I would prefer to see Dakota with. But you're right, Matt. She needs to be with somebody. I think she's good enough to stand on her own, but I don't think she has the backing from the crowd to stand on her own right now.
The Money in the Bank match split them up, where they get to where they all want the briefcase, and then kind of get the greed gets the best of them, and you see a split there.
Yeah. I mean, you could see that. I could see that. I just think there's a split coming between Damage Control, and I think it's going to hinge on. I think Dakota's going to be kind of out of it. She's going to be the odd woman out, I think. And I think it's going to be more Io and Bailey going at each other, and Dakota's going to be forced to pick a side, and she may just say screw it to all of it and just go with somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And as far as the match, I mean, I think it was a fun spot match, like we kind of expected. You got Bianca, the athlete, and Io, who flies all over the place. There were some real fun spots in this match, so it was a good first match.
It really was, and just technically speaking, it was probably one of the best matches on the show, and it really got the crowd going, and we got to see a little bit of that weird, Puerto Rico vibe when you get some of these foreign crowds. Although Puerto Rico is firmly within the United States, but just a non-traditional crowd. You get to see these kinds of crazy things, and we got to see it here. And it was a good starter. It might have been on the long side. I think it might have ended up 20 minutes or so, but still, I think it was good to see them give women's wrestling that much time and let them shine, and certainly the crowd was into it the whole match.
Yeah, definitely. It was a good starter. And I know Kyle's he may go off screen here. We start talking about this next match. Seth Rollins and Omos. Honestly, guys, I thought this was Omos's best match since they've been trying to push him. Of course, Seth Rollins makes you look good, but I honestly thought this was a really good match. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I was with Kyle. I mean, it's a bathroom match or whatever. And it wasn't great, but I thought it was it exceeded my expectations, I guess.
I did use this as my bathroom break early on, but when I came back and the match was still going on, I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I saw the last half of it. I agree. This was the best Omos has looked in the ring his entire WWE career, I think, and that's a big credit to Seth Rollins, because Seth could bring a wet paper bag to a great match in the ring. I mean, he's that good. But I'm not going to say I enjoyed the match, but it wasn't as disrespectful, if you will, as I expected it to be.
Yeah, I like that wordage was good.
So the right person won. He won clean. Again, Omos looked the best he's looked in his whole time in WWE. So I mean, it was what it was, but I would never want to see that match again.
I'm going to disagree with y'all a little bit. The mainstream, I was not entertained by this match at all, and I guess we have to have really low standards if we're starting to rank Omos matches and starting to see improvement in this. I saw no improvement. I mean, you could almost predict he was going to win with some sort of mega kick or something off the top rope. I mean, we could have booked this. I think we kind of did book this last week in this match. And yeah, you put Seth in there, it's going to be fun because of who Seth is, but Omos is basically a big giant waste of time. And maybe when we have the AEW against WWE Super Show one day, we'll have the Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal's guy against this guy, and we can just in a Pujami prison match or something, and maybe they'll deliver us the 5-star excellence we've always wanted. But man, you're KO. This is a bathroom match and a half, and the fact that you're impressed, even you give it a compliment. I feel disrespected as a wrestling fan that you had a respectful comment on this. It just did not deliver. And I saw some comments that there's a lot of backstage praise for Omos. What are you praising? I mean, that he maybe put in a fourth move. What do you say, Bray? I don't get it.
So what, and I saw it same here. And the other day I saw, people who's been on the Kyle and other side of disliking Omos totally. They were Monday night. Well, why did Omos earn a spot into this triple threat? Why isn't he in here? I was like, wait, what did you see the other night that made you flip? Like, I mean, yes, he improved, but it wasn't enough to we don't want to see him in the main picture. Just keep him off our TV as much as possible. And
let me be clear. I am not an Omos fan.
I think that's what I heard. KO is now trending. He wants more Omos on his television.
No, let's not.
See, he went from 1 to 5, not 10 to 50.
Yeah.
Listen, just because it was his best match doesn't mean it was a good match. That just means the bar was set extremely low.
His other matches were so bad that it has to go up, right? They can't go.
It's more of me praising Seth Rollins for being able to bring Omos to that match than actual Omos. Omos could be fired tomorrow and it would make my life happy. That's harsh. I don't want him to lose his job. But
wow,
he could be a bodyguard again for Raw Underground, and I would be completely okay with that. But him on my TV, get it
How about Omos as one of those security guards that comes in and breaks up brawls?
Sure. Fantastic. Anything other than him being in the ring.
That way he can come out. Because those guys are so puny, they get thrown all over the place. Well, you bring out Omos as your ultimate security guard. Maybe he's Adam Pearce's bodyguard, and he comes out and he, if there's a fighter, he just sends him out and he just blows them up because he's so big and so strong.
Let's do that. Let's just not put him on a pay-per-view again.
Yeah, I actually
think
did want him
you're
to be
onto
Austin
something, Brett.
Theory's muscle, but they never did that.
Yeah, somebody that needs a lackey like that, and that'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right, so that match was okay. We didn't hate it. Everybody except Matt hated it. Matt hated it. Everyone else thought it was okay for that match. I mean, honestly, I when I came into the pay-per-view, I thought it was going to be trash, and it wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. I've seen worse matches, so if you're going to have them on the card, at least they put him.
Name a worse match. Go ahead. I'll wait.
It was the worst match of the night. I'm not gonna because the matches were all great. So
Yeah.
Since
But I'm challenging you. When's the last time you've seen a worse match?
a worst match,
Yeah.
the Brock Lesnar Omos match.
But didn't that even have the entry? Could Brock do that? Because I didn't know if Brock could F5 him. I mean, as strong as he is, that was my entry. Could he actually do it?
But he picked up the Big Show back in the day.
Well, that's the day. That's 20 years ago. He's aged quite a bit.
It didn't look like it to me. You could have fooled me. He looks just as strong as ever. Speaking of strong, Bronson Reed, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory. That triple threat match. Pretty much what we thought. We were kind of split on who was going to take the pin. We've all figured that Austin Theory was going to take it some snake, sneezely, or Weasley way, and that's what happened here. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good match for a triple threat. I mean, we got what we thought we were going to get. Theory letting them beat each other up, trying to sneak in for pins, and just a lot of big beef. What do you think of this one, Kyle?
It was okay. I would have preferred it to go a little longer, I think, because I'm a big Bronson Reed fan. By the way, his moonsault off the top rope at that big of as big as he is, very impressive. But I mean, I'm tired of seeing Lashley and Austin Theory in the same ring. I feel like that's kind of played out. So I mean, it was a decent match. It wasn't great, wasn't bad. It was just kind of there. It was kind of a filler in my mind. So I didn't mind it, but I didn't hate it. I mean, it was there. It was an all right match.
It was an Austin Theory match.
Yeah, I mean, I like Theory. But I mean, it's hard to tell a story. I don't know. The match went 7 to 10 minutes. It's hard to tell a story in the match when it's that short. So,
well, yeah, and they haven't really. Theory's just been kind of, I don't know. He hasn't really had a big feud against somebody like Lashley. That's old. That should have been gone 2 or 3 months ago.
right.
All of a sudden, Bronson Reed comes in. Is there a reason why he just jumped in? He wants a title shot. I think they need to move. If they're going to keep Reed going for it, maybe they need to tell a story between the two before they just have a match.
It definitely needs a story. But I mean, as the match at Backlash, it was okay. Nothing overly impressive to me.
Yeah.
When I watched this match, this is a true story. I was mad at you, KO, because you are a Bronson Reed apologist. And when I'm watching this match, I don't see what you see in Bronson Reed. I think, Brandon, you're a little bit of a Bronson Reed apologist, too. I think you were kind of taken up for KO last week when we were getting
I like
into
Bronson Reed.
But, I mean, if you're going – I think of Keith Lee and how bad WWE did him. And he is way better personality in the ring and all that. You remember those matches against Djokovic or whatever in NXT, where I mean, like 5-star matches with Keith Lee. You could not bring a 5-star match out of Bronson Reed. He is like a Rhino knockoff, and he has no personality as well. I mean, you can put him in a suit in a little vignette, and it still doesn't, make me think, oh, this is a star right here. Bronson Reed is basically a future jobber, and they just can't find a personality for him. And you have 5 of him on the roster. There's nothing special. Ooh, he can do a moonsault. Well, look out that window. Yeah, maybe he can do a moonsault on Omos one day in our 5-star experience or whatever. But Bronson Reed is pretty much worthless, and it happened exactly as I expected it to. And maybe he can go back to main event where he belongs, or maybe even NXT and get some seasoning. I'm mad at you, KO, trying to promote Bronson. You too, Brandon, trying to promote Bronson Reed like he's something.
Kyle, I'm going to let you have your rebuttal first, and then I'll go.
Wow.
Well, he kind of took my rebuttal. I was going to ask, were you not entertained by the 350-pounder doing a moonsault, a perfect moonsault off the top rope?
Bam Bam Bigelow-esque.
Diggs
Look,
does moonsaults every day, so
I'm look, he's not everybody's cup of tea. I've ran into a lot of people that are in love with Karrion Kross. I'm not a fan. Like I don't think he's that great. But I mean, so it's different strokes for different folks. I'll take the responsibility of pushing Bronson Reed on you, because one day when he becomes a star, Matt, you're gonna look back at this situation. You're gonna be like, you know what? KO called it. KO and Brandon called it early on that Bronson Reed's a star. So
He'd be
I'll take it
wrestling
for right now.
70-year-old Rhino in a bingo hall. That's what he's going to be doing.
So first off,
Gore.
First off, let me say, I love Keith Lee. That's probably my favorite. Like he was my favorite wrestler when he was. I mean, he's still one of my favorite wrestlers. But so Keith Lee, there's like no comparison there. Like you used like maybe the absolute bar to compare. So Bronson Reed is not Keith Lee, but I do like Bronson Reed, and especially in that match, I thought he looked great. Like I thought he was probably the most impressive in that match, still losing. And Theory was great as his character, and hey, I'm gonna sneak a win, find a way to win anyway. But match wise, he didn't do a whole lot. Where Bronson Reed was the one who was. I mean, I thought for the most part, Bronson Reed kind of carried that match. Bobby stuck back and did some spears, and then and Bronson did the unimpressive moonsault. But and then as far as Theory, is anyone else upset that he's in this world title triple threat? I mean, he's a U.S. champion.
He doesn't need to be. He's a U.S. champion.
Yeah. Is there nobody else you could put in there? Because he's going to have a match at Night of Champions anyway. Like, so you're just basically wasting a spot. Like,
yeah, you could have put Bronson Reed in there. I'm gonna stir the pot up a little bit.
Well, it shows you what they think of him, that they have to throw Austin in there to get one more of the 6 from SmackDown.
Well, Austin did beat him, so
you know who they need to put? They needed L.A. Knight. Yeah.
I would have rather him than Austin Theory in there, or let one of the new NXT guys be in it.
Yeah.
Grayson Waller, that would have been.
I like Reed. Okay, he's nothing special to me. I think he doesn't have his character. I don't know what he's about. He's a mean guy that doesn't like people and likes to attack people from behind, but he has no character. Like I don't know.
That's where he's like nowhere near when he was bringing up Keith Lee. He's nowhere near, because Keith Lee had a personality and character. But like in the ring, Bronson Reed, I mean, he looks really good in there, but he's going to need someone to talk for him.
Yeah.
And that's the whole element of my point, is if you couldn't make a star out of Keith Lee in the WWE.
Well, they could have.
That was Vince's fault for changing him to Bearcat.
They could have.
That was stupid. I still don't know why we're still calling Seth freaking Rollins. Why can't we just call him Seth Rollins? Why does it be freaking Rollins? I don't get that.
I don't know. My son likes it because that's the only time we let him say freaking.
It's a proper noun, so you can say it.
Oh, yeah. Oh man. But that was I thought it was a good match overall. I wasn't terrible, but I like Lee. I like Lee. I like Reed's work in the ring. He's got some cool moves, but his character doesn't do anything for me. He's whatever. He's just another wrestler that can do moves flips off the turnbuckle. I know he's huge and that's cool, but Viking Raiders they can do some cool things off the top, or at least they have a character and they have some kind of.
I would rather see Bronson Reed every show than the Viking Raiders. I could not care less about the Viking Raiders.
Here I got one for you. Bronson Reed or Otis?
Oh,
Otis for sure.
Otis? Otis or Otis?
Oh, Otis, not Otis. Otis.
He's going to Otis. You know that, right?
I know.
The War Raiders, back before they got the Viking gimmick, put on some bangers in NXT. So you got to let them.
Hey, at least it's not the Viking experience. At least it's not that. They changed it off of that after 1 week.
That was an awful experience.
Oh, well, they got so many bad comments. I think they at least changed it. That was the worst name I've ever heard. All right. So next match, Rhea Ripley, Zelina Vega. All right, Brandon, this was your miss here. You thought it was going to the hometown girl. What'd you think of the match?
Well, no, I said Rhea would retain.
No. Okay, Corey.
No, I said Rhea would retain.
Where's your
Rhea
theory?
retained.
Oh, wait,
but,
here's
hey,
the theory. He's like, oh, well, this is who I think is going to, but no, my heart of heart.
But they still gave Zelina her moment. She had her pre-match moment. She got emotional. She had her moment. She had her family there. It was really cool to she got that moment. I saw some of the backlash of her crying. Like, it's like, let her have her moment. She earned it. She enjoyed it, and people were giving her a hard time about that, and I didn't like that. But like Rhea, I mean, it's Rhea Ripley, and she's gonna hold that title for a while, and she gets stronger every show. Her character, her in ring. I mean, like, I don't know if WWE will ever do but it was always Charlotte I wanted to see go against. I want to see Rhea go up against some dudes. Like, I want to see her go against anybody because it just, well, but maybe not Zelina again because she just overpowered her. But the toughest person I want to see Rhea go against because
how about she
she's
goes
so strong
and takes the U.S. title from Austin Theory because
whoop
Austin
awesome.
Theory.
But like, who was it she stood up to the other? Oh, she scared Tozawa the other night. It was hilarious.
That was
Tozawa just.
Let's be real.
He
Tozawa
tell
probably
her
gets
in.
scared of his own shadow.
Yeah, but it was still funny. He wasn't scared of Dom Dom. He was scared of
Tozawa. He's still roaming around in the backstage looking for that 24/7 title.
I'm glad that's gone. That's one positive.
He's still looking for that because that's the only time you ever see him is in the back stage area.
Yeah, this was a no-brainer. Zelina just, when you have the eyeball test, she does not, you put Rhea in the ring and Zelina in the ring. It's, Zelina's not ever going to beat Rhea in any fantasy booking thing unless she gets some sort of Rey Mysterio vibe or something, which I know they're trying to play up. But at least in the women's division, you don't see that underside, Alexa Bliss maybe, but that's why I think they have a hard time finding storylines for Alexa right now is because she's not as believable against some of these really talented female athletes that they have. So I think that they, need to develop something with Zelina. I'm glad they're trying something. But to me, this was a no-brainer victory for Rhea. And, it was entertaining as far as the crowd was into it, but there was no chance where I thought Zelina was going to win this match at all.
Wait, is she coming back? I think she's coming back with Bray Wyatt. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm writing storylines over here. They would never do that. Bring back a good character like that.
Can't do that.
I thought it was a decent match. It wasn't bad. I was happy for Zelina. She came out. The Puerto Rico flag looked great. Her entrance was great. And I liked after the match giving her that moment in the ring by herself to kind of just take it all in. This was more of a sentimental match, in my opinion. Like you said, there was no real chance that Zelina was beating Rhea Ripley. I mean, it's Rhea Bloody Ripley. I mean, she wasn't going to get beat. So
that crowd was hot too for that match. Whew.
Crowd was very hot, but it went how it was supposed to. Zelina got her moment. She got the moment in the big stage. I'm okay with it. It happened like it was supposed to. There wasn't a lot of interference from outside. So, and she threw a chancla. So shout out to Zelina.
All right. Anybody else got any thoughts on that one? We good? Next one, the should have been main event. Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. I don't know if you guys are in agreement to that, but I thought this one should have been the main event. I always wanted to shout out that I called Carlito coming back. Matt, we had that one on. Yeah. We were discussing that last week, Matt, and I said, hey, what about Carlito? Let's bring everybody back. And that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, and what I really loved about this match was you saw Bad Bunny looked like a legitimate, this was not, pomping. He looked like he could beat up, Damian Priest, and he stood, toe to toe with him. I love the match. I didn't even think it needed the crazy middle. It was good enough to stand on its own. And, I really liked how they kind of, mentioned that this was Bad Bunny's not somebody who comes in as a one-off, that he really worked at it. And you could really see that. Very impressed. For me, match of the night. I loved it.
Yeah, it was a fantastic match. I mean, Bad Bunny, the other matches he's had, he looked great, and this was no different. I mean, he was great just when it was a regular match, when it was a street fight. No matter how it was, he was great. Like he knew when to get the weapons and how to use them. He knows how to maneuver the ring. He's high flyer. He's super athletic. Dude was at Coachella 2 weeks ago, and now he's starring at Backlash. Dayton Kendall Jenner. Who wouldn't want to be Bad Bunny, right? He's living the life and just dominating everything he does. It was a fantastic match, and Damian Priest was fantastic in the match too. Both of them. I don't know. I know some people picked Damian just because they thought, hey, Damian's not going to lose this match, but it was just both of them were great, and I'd go back and watch it over. It's one of those, not many matches. There's all those certain matches you'll go watch over. This is one I'd want to go watch again because it was entertaining all the way through it. But I hope they bring Bad Bunny back again. And then the crowd was great all night. But from once Bad Bunny came out, the place was just going nuts. And every time his song played, and then when he won, it had those, they went pan the faces like those shock moments, like when Brock beat Taker or when the Miz beat Orton. You had so many fans with their facial expressions were great.
So Brandon, are you calling Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny WrestleMania 40?
I said I want to see them be a tag team.
Yeah,
I want to see them be a tag team.
I like them both. I think they both are incredible in the ring for not doing that full time. That's just something to behold. Kyle, what do you got on this match?
I'm with Matt. Match of the night. It should have been the main event, I believe. Bad Bunny from the entrance, which was the entrance of the night. The whole crowd, Chambea, Allah. It was fantastic. Didn't know what they were saying, but it got me hyped. It got me hyped. I didn't know what they were doing, but it got me hyped. I thought it was a great match. Damian had a tough task. We know, off screen, Damian and Bad Bunny are best friends. So it's same thing with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It's easy to work with your best friend in the ring. But Damian had the job of protecting a global superstar, like not letting him get hurt at all. And Damian did a fantastic job of protecting Bad Bunny throughout that match. Yes, Bad Bunny took some bumps. The bump through the table off the production crates was wild. But even then, you see Damian cut Bad Bunny's head to make sure he's not going to get hurt. So kudos to Damian for taking care of Bad Bunny. Like I said, a global superstar, that's a lot of pressure on Damian to try and make sure that this man doesn't get hurt. But Bad Bunny, Logan Paul, those celebrities like that actually put in the work to work on their craft.
Pat McAfee.
Perform. Do what?
Said Pat McAfee as well.
Yeah, Pat McAfee. Those that come in there and put in the work to perform, I love to see it, and I love to see them succeed. Match of the night, hands down, should have been the main event. Shout out to Bad Bunny. Puerto Rico was rocking. It was like a concert during his entrance. It was best thing of the show was the Bad Bunny and Damian match for sure.
What about the Bunny Destroyer he did? the finisher. Like he does some incredible stuff, but then I wasn't expecting that. And that's the way. That was just a. And then as far as Carlito, he's got one of the coolest. Certain people have little talkings above their music before. Carlito's is one of the best. When that hits, you just you know it's Carlito coming out, and you get kind of. And Brett did call it.
Yeah, I know. I was just it was halfway a joke, but you never know when they go to these shows that. Especially with the way they've been pushing the LWO lately, I know I read it was a one-off, but I wouldn't be surprised if they because from what I've been told, their merchandise sales have been off the charts. I really wish they'd give them a little bit more of a push. Maybe give give him some kind of title run. Maybe, get a belt on somebody, and kind of give him a push up the card, because it's kind of a hot thing right now, and it's WWE doesn't do a great job of putting people over like that, and it's kind of just put itself over. So I think they need to take advantage of it and let it and run with it.
Yeah, Kyle made really good points, and we talked about Bad Bunny, but Damian Priest, the facial expressions, that Damian Priest was when he was in the figure four, and he was really selling it up for Bad Bunny, and I didn't consider Kyle's point about having to really take care of him and the stress of that, and he did that very, very well. So kudos to Kyle for getting something right in his lack of success on this Backlash prediction side of things. He nailed this one.
I had to make my picks at work, like I'm doing now, so I wasn't fully involved in the show. So that's I blame work for that.
That's his new theory. KO theory number 432. Do not do my picks at work, otherwise they won't be good.
Yeah. So next time I'm gonna make sure I'm in the comfort of my own home, and I'll make more educated picks.
All right.
And KO Theory is going to be the tag team of Kevin Owens and Austin Theory one day. And then also Savio Vega looks super old, and it was kind of depressing.
Yeah, it was cool to see him, but yeah, he definitely.
It was cool to see him, but he looked kind of struggling.
He wasn't taking any bumps.
Yeah, speaking of looking awkward, so we saw how awful Snoop Dogg and these other people look when they do moves, and then you see Bad Bunny, and it's like a total 180.
But gentlemen, to quote Kenny Omega, I have to wish you a fair adieu, and I look forward to popping on and watching the rest of it, and maybe KO can be right about something on the rest of this show. I'm going to challenge him and encourage him to step up and be the leader, be the stunner that we need him to be for the rest of this show.
Well, thanks for joining us, Matt. We appreciate it.
Hey,
take it easy, Matt.
Just keep fighting. I'm gonna just keep guessing, and I'll get one right eventually.
Guessing is the key word with you, from what we learned last week. So.
We have a couple of pay-per-views here in a few weeks, and maybe we can have you back on for those, Matt. Thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Matt.
That is the professor himself, Matt Diggs. Thanks him for joining us.
Well, that's not fair. He's a professor. He's supposed to get things right.
Yeah, he has to be right, correct?
Yeah, I'm not a professor, so I don't have to get things right.
No, we're gonna start. Brandon? Did you say it was the KOCM tag team? Is that what you were going for? The theories?
Hey, me and Corey would make a good tag team. All right, me and Corey, it would be called the That's So Dope tag team. Is what it'd be called.
Oh, there's a cool show coming out on our network here pretty soon. That's so dope.
Yeah,
I still want to be a guest on that.
Hey, you're talking to the wrong person. Me and Kyle, we didn't got invitations to that so dope yet. So
it's above your pay grade.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not in that. I'm not in the know on that. But I did hear from a birdie that there possibly in a few weeks there'll be our first episode released on the Disrespect Sports Network. So. All right, so let's go on to the next match. We have the match that no one got right. The Usos and I thought it was a great. My only thought was I'm thinking the only reason that went the way it went because they want to extend the storyline as long as they possibly can. They're not quite ready to pull the trigger on Solo turning on anybody. I think if you'd have told me bet which way it was going to go and how it was going to end, I would have said that Sikoa is taking out the Usos at the end after they lose, and I would have felt really good about it. But that's not the way it happened, fellas. What did you think? The match was great, though.
I don't know if it was because it followed the Damian and Bad Bunny match, but I wasn't impressed. Hold on. Somebody else talk. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
I thought it was a good match. I keep everything Solo does. I know some people don't like, but I think it was Diggs. He's gone, but I think he's the one that wasn't impressed with Solo. But just the way, like, he looks so annoyed with his brothers, and and so he's like, he's going to strike, and it keeps you hanging to when he's finally going to do something to him. And
eventually it's going to happen, and you just don't know when it's going to happen.
And they keep dropping those little Easter eggs, and but the way it ended there, I didn't, like we said, we didn't expect the Usos to win, the Bloodline to win, but I still, with Sammy and Kevin, I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen to them with the titles, because we know they're not going to be on the pay-per-view. So but I don't know if they have a match lined up to drop them, and is that belt just not going to be defended, or I'm still waiting to see what happens there. And I don't know. I was surprised they didn't actually make that like an impromptu title match the other night, but I still don't know what's going on there. But I thought it was a good match.
So the reason I said I think it was because it was after that Bad Bunny Damian Priest match. It was that come down afterwards, and this, truthfully, kind of tired of seeing them in the ring with the Bloodline. I'm just ready for them to move on. I'm kind of ready for them to move on to a title campaign with somebody else. I'm ready for the Bloodline story to advance, which it kind of is. We keep seeing glimpses of Solo. Solo nearly took out who was it? Jay. Solo nearly took Jay out with a Samoan spike. So,
and then we had the rough tag too.
Yeah,
he kept looking at his chest at the end. He was like,
"Yeah,
he didn't like."
There's a ton of tension in the Bloodline, which that intrigues me. That story intrigues me. The Kevin Owens Sami Zayn thing, it's almost like cool. They got the tag titles at Mania. Now what? And there was no follow up after that. They didn't have a plan after that.
Well, who's next in line? Because they really haven't built anybody to be a next in line title contender. I don't know.
I don't know. And they don't have. There's not any tournament or number one contender matches coming up for the tag team. So that's what I'm saying. Where are they going with this? What's going on after that? And so I'm just kind of disappointed in the follow-up that happened with KO and Sammy. But I think the Bloodline storyline, it's coming to an end sooner rather than later. But I am fully on board with this Bloodline story. I think it's the most intriguing storyline going on in WWE right now. In wrestling, really. I would even group AEW into that. It's the most intriguing storyline in my mind. So,
Roman's returning Friday for the first time since Mania.
That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting to see what happens. But overall, the match wasn't bad. I mean, you put these 6 men in the ring together, they're not going to have a bad match. The match wasn't bad. I'm just kind of, that come down off that Damian and Bad Bunny match, then followed up with this one. I wasn't feeling it like normal matches.
That's tough when they come back. It's almost like you should have stuck the Omos Seth Rollins match there. Yeah. Give people a chance to catch their breath, go to the bathroom, and then have the next match, because it was tough. I think I like the match. I'm intrigued on where they're going with it, but I'm like you, Kyle. I just don't know where they go with Sammy and KO from here. It's not like they've done a great job building other tag teams. It's been the Bloodline and Sammy and KO for the last 3 or 4 months, and nobody else is really. Who else do you have? You've got Street Profits. I like them.
You got Alpha Academy, but are they splitting up soon, or are they not?
Well, you thought they might split them up in the draft, but they wouldn't do that. That'd have been too easy. I just don't know. You got your favorite tag team, Kyle. You've got Braun Strowman and Ricochet. I don't know.
I guess but those are 2 babyface teams. Same thing with the Street Profits and KO and Sammy. Those are 2 babyface teams. So you don't want to have babyface against babyface.
You got Pretty Deadly. They haven't came up to the main roster,
and they don't need to. They need to just stay where they're at.
I'm not a fan of them, but it's another team.
They did come up.
Well, they are, but they haven't
debuted or anything.
Debuted yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what the plan is for KO and Sammy, but it almost feels like their title run is now just like that. Like I said earlier, it's like they got to Mania. Okay, we're going to give them the titles, but they had nothing on the follow up after that. They had nothing lined up after that. It was just
like just keep fighting the Usos to eternity.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I like Matt Riddle. I don't think he needs to be involved in this story. I think there is a story of Matt Riddle in the bloodline because Solo took him out. So that story's there, but why is he with KO and Sammy? Just
so what about Randy Orton returns and they go after the titles that they had before?
That's babyface again, though. Unless Sammy turn heel.
Or
Matt Riddle, but you can bring Randy back as a heel, so
yeah, Randy comes back and just RKO's everybody out of nowhere.
But if Randy comes back as a heel, they're not going to pair him with Matt Riddle, a babyface, for RK Bro. Now I can see Randy coming back, hugging Riddle, and then hitting him with an RKO and going off.
And they feud.
Yeah, I could see that happening, but that still gives us nothing with the tag title. So I don't
know
what they're doing.
I figured it out. I know who's about to win the tag titles in the next couple weeks. Genders guys in this year because they're going to Saudi. They're going to Saudi. They're going to Saudi. They got to take them off of Kevin and Sammy for the thing. Hey, hometown guys. I mean, that's how the WWE does it, right?
Oh no,
it's not what I want, but is that not how the WWE does things? Is that not something the WWE would do?
Let's pair up, Kyle, me and you, and we'll go have a match with Sammy and KO.
Yeah, okay. I didn't say I want that.
Might as well.
But is that not something they would do?
It is, but you would hope that they don't do it. But yeah, it is something they would do. I just think I think they'll just leave the tag titles off Night of Champions just because Sammy can't go there.
So what's your excuse? Because that when they come out and say, "Oh well, Sammy and KO because of their beliefs or whatever."
Do we even know that all championships are going to be defended that night? Like I understand it's called Night of Champions, but you're going to have the Brock Cody match that's not a championship match. You could have Io and Bayley, which is not a title match. Like, do we know all titles are going to be defended? Is Roman even going to have a match? Who's his opponent? Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, there you go. Gosh.
Hey, it may be.
Gosh.
Okay, so if you're not going to have a tag title match,
they could come out and feud with the Bloodline. You could have Jinder Mahal's group against the Bloodline.
No.
If you're not going to have a tag title match, then have like a triple threat or a fatal 4-way ladder tag team match, and that they're grabbing to be number one contenders to face Kevin and Sammy that next Monday.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, so say you do that.
So at least they championship. Huh?
Then who are you going to put in there, Brandon?
Well, you're going to do Braun and Ricochet for sure. The Street Profits.
Alpha Academy, pretty deadly. You could put LWO, Imperium. Like, they got tag teams.
Yeah, those Imperium. And they did start teasing that they're not Imperium and Kevin Sammy.
Yeah.
They started teasing that they're not.
That is something I could get interested in. Imperium.
Yeah, I like the little bit they did too.
Yeah, that was funny.
And I love when Kevin said he says general funny.
Yeah. The Ring General.
Well, he's supposed to be coming back next week, so we'll see if they continue that or they just forget it hadn't happened.
Here's my fear though: is Gunther's going to come back and they're going to make this another 3-person tag. Riddle's going to be involved somehow.
Oh gosh,
Gunther Riddle, the dream match we all wanted.
Hey, seeing Riddle take those chops from Gunther would be outstanding though, because Riddle can
is true
like a mother. So if seeing him take those chops would be something.
Well, so they'll come up with something, and we'll just tear it apart and disagree with it, I'm sure. But speaking of tearing each other apart, Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes main event, guys. I don't know if I may have shared this with Kyle, but I didn't even see this match live. Like I thought the pay-per-view was over. I'd forgotten about this match, and it went to kind of like a commercial deal. I thought, well, that's the end of the show, and so I turned it off. And yeah, then I caught this one later. And I mean, honestly, man, they said that the blood was part of the match, but I thought it might not have been at first. Because man, it was a massive cut that Brock took.
Well, he agreed to it beforehand. He cut himself hard way. Like he hit the turnbuckle on purpose, intentionally to draw blood. Like he hard way.
But man, that was a nasty. I mean, and you don't see blood on WWE a whole lot.
Well, and you didn't really hold on.
And my thinking was, Brandon, that this is the reason why he lost, is because he was bleeding so much. That's going to be his excuse. Well, I took a hit and I was bleeding. Otherwise, I'd have beat Cody Rhodes. Yada yada. And now that's turned into, I don't know if that's why they're doing the fight, because it's turned into he bled so much, and now he just wants to straight fight him instead of wrestling him.
Well, also because they had the wonky finish. It's like, well, if we have a fight, we can't have a, you can't just kind of, because it was kind of like, Cody had the steal win, and it was like Brock had him, and then Cody, so he's like, if we have a fight or whatever, but they're using it multiple angles. But also it's like, yeah, the way it ended, he's like, okay, they're gonna have another match, because it didn't end technically clean, even though it was a pin.
Yeah.
Because Brock had him. I mean, Cody looked like he was about to pass out, and then
man, it just it was a lot of blood. It was almost like a Moxley match with the amount of blood.
Yeah. If you in a Brock match, if you see blood, you think Brock's going to make the other dude bleed.
Yeah, that's usually the way it works, and that just really surprised me, the amount of blood there was. I liked the match. I thought it was a really good match. It wasn't like the greatest match of the whole night, but it was solid.
No, it was good, except just the finish.
It was kind of strange, yeah. And I don't know if you hadn't have had the Bad Bunny match on the card, this one would have been right up there. But that match kind of overshadowed everything.
But if you're gonna finish the way you did, I think they should have swapped those matches.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like that finish wouldn't have been as bad as the third match from the end, but as the ending of the show, you could have ended the show with Bad Bunny getting that Puerto Rican pop and then went off the air.
Yeah. Well, and I thought it was weird that, again, Brock showed up the next night. I thought that was really weird.
Well, yeah, I thought it was gonna be, after the way it ended, I thought it was gonna be a little predictable. I mean, just because like we said, we thought Cody, but then it's like, okay, Brock's gonna come do something. But I thought he was gonna come during I thought Cody was gonna win the first match, and then against Seth, then Brock was gonna come.
Yeah. All right, Kyle, go ahead. If you're available, we can go ahead and get your thoughts here.
So, I didn't care for the Brock Cody match either. There was a lot that I liked on this show. There was a lot that I didn't like on this show. But this match we still to this day have no explanation on why Brock attacked Cody. Why he turned on Cody. There's no explanation for that.
Paul Heyman.
Huh?
It's Paul Heyman, right? I mean, that's what we all assume, right? Brock and Paul still buddies in the.
Oh, I mean, I guess, but nobody's told us that.
They haven't. And that's what I'm going to assume until told otherwise, that Paul Heyman had something to do with it, because.
Yeah. I mean, but the match, the blood was a nice added feature to it. I wish WWE did more of that. Especially on like Hell in the Cell or steel cage matches where it's warranted, or to blow off a feud.
So you need a Moxley special on every pay-per-view.
Sometimes, but if you noticed what WWE did, because they're so PG, they quit showing Brock's face. Like once it was real bloody, they just shot him from behind, so they couldn't show his face. And then on Monday when they replayed it in black and white, so you couldn't see the blood. That's
just come on.
I know. So
I mean, my thing is, it's PG, but kids bleed. It happens. I mean,
yeah. I didn't care for the match too much. It went how I expected it to. I expected Cody to win. I didn't like the ending. I thought it was, he's got him in a Kimura lock, and then Cody shifts his weight, and you're telling me big old Brock couldn't push out of that? Like, I don't know. I didn't like how it ended. I don't like this whole feud they got going.
It's confusing.
It's confusing. It doesn't make any sense, and it looks like we're still going to get at least 3 more weeks of it. I hope that it's the end of it at Night at Champions, but I have a bad feeling that it's probably not.
Yeah, that's my thinking too. I think we're not near done with this. They're going to beat each other up, and then Cody's got to rise from the ashes, and then what's he going to do? Have to win the Rumble again to get back to?
I would have him winning the Rumble. What I would do with Cody is, because since him and Roman are on separate brands, how is he supposed to get back to him to finish the story? What I would do, I would have Cody win Money in the Bank. That way he can cash in whenever. And knowing Cody, he's not going to do some slick, oh, you're beaten down, let me cash in. He's going to tell him, hey, at SummerSlam, I'm cashing in and I'm coming for you.
Yeah, I like that.
I see Cody winning Money in the Bank. It would be dumb for him to win Royal Rumble again, because there's no point. But I could see him winning Money in the Bank for sure.
And then he doesn't have to wait. He can cash it in at SummerSlam, like you said. Yeah, I like that.
See, Matt, when you watch this back, I did get something right. See, look at that.
Hey, you gotta keep record of it, so you'll be able to look. I think it's possible. I also read where they're trying to get Roman Reigns' title reign past Hulk Hogan, which would put him next September or something like that, keeping the belt. So I don't know. That's a long time to draw him out. I don't know what their ultimate put over is. And I honestly don't think Cody needs to. He wants to finish his story, but does it have to be Cody he puts over? Cody's already so over. That's why I always thought that maybe Solo, you put him over at some point. I don't know. No, Matt's not a Solo fan. Me and Brandon, Kyle, how were your thoughts on Solo?
I love Solo. I think they have done everything right with Solo from the moment he stepped foot on the main roster.
Could you see that as they use him? He finally gets fed up with being Roman Reigns' henchman and keeping the belt, and he eventually turns on Roman, and then he's the one that dethrones him and takes over head of the bloodline.
I don't necessarily think he's going to. I don't think him or the Usos are beating Roman. But what I do think happens is that they cost Roman the championship. Somehow they don't come out and help him or something. I feel like they're involved in him losing the title, but I don't think directly one of them takes the title from Roman.
So do you think it's Cody then?
I think Cody takes it at SummerSlam.
Does he need it though? Talking about trying to put somebody over. This is a huge, this is almost like Undertaker streak-esque. I know it was like a bunch of matches, but this has been 3 years worth of winning matches in a row. Like, this could put someone over for the rest of their career. Does Cody Rhodes need that? I don't think he needs it. You could really put somebody over.
But Solo's getting over right now, just being associated with the bloodline. Like, his stock is rising.
True, but if he was to be the one that dethroned the head of the table and takes over the table, Roman Reigns takes some time off and he continues to run things. I mean, he would be immediately over as a legit top star.
But the problem is, from ever since Cody stepped foot back in WWE, the whole story around him has been getting this WWE championship. Yeah. That has been the story from night one when he entered the WWE. So are you just going to throw that to the wayside to give Solo a title? I mean, I think Cody has to finish the story. It has to be Cody has to take it from Roman in order to complete his story. Now, what happens after that? Who knows? But I don't think Cody needs a title. I don't think Solo needs a title necessarily. I think they can both grow without a title. But I think storyline-wise, with everything you've done with Cody, it would be creative suicide to not give him the title after you built up him getting a title this whole time.
But we are talking about the WWE.
This is true. Who knows?
Brandon, how would you write it up?
Oh, man, I really don't know what they're going to do. But I mean, I don't see Cody winning at SummerSlam. I think it's going to be a little longer than that. He may win Money in the Bank, but I don't know how they're going to maneuver that, because even if he wins Money in the Bank, I don't know if he'll take it from Roman or if he'll go after this other title, the one on Raw, or maybe maybe he beats Brock again this week, and when he goes and tries to win Money in the Bank, Brock takes him out again. You just, I mean, that seems like something they would do, and so I just don't know what's next for Roman, because he's going to have a match at Money in the Bank, so it'll be interesting to see. Well, he's also going to have a match at Night Champions, so first we got to see who he faces there. He's going to win, and then see how kind of where they go from there.
Yeah, that's definitely looking ahead, though, guys, to our next episode. Possibly, we should have a big preview show on episode 8 here, most likely. Have also NXT Battleground. I don't know if we can maybe just touch on it if there's some things we want to touch on, and then AEW's Double or Nothing the next night. That's Memorial Day weekend. 3 shows right there. Big wrestling shows. Big weekend. Should be some fun matches and storylines that we hadn't talked to AEW in a while, but there's some matches and storylines building over there. We know they tend to do a better job of telling those stories, and there's some interesting ones right now that I'm looking forward to. You've got the Pillars 4-way match. You've got the Elite kind of fighting off the BCC. You got lots of things coming up, and so and we know NXT, they always pretty much deliver on those shows. I haven't watched one in a while, but they still tend to deliver as far as good matches. So with Night of Champions there to start off the weekend, should be 3 good shows and hopefully some good stuff to talk about. And I look forward to it.
I agree. I'm looking forward to AEW's Double or Nothing. I think that's going to be Tony Khan never puts on a bad pay-per-view, so really looking forward to that. I'm not real excited about Night of Champions for WWE just because you're only giving it 3 weeks. Like, we just had a pay-per-view, and you're turning around and having another one. So what kind of build? I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of rematches at Night of Champions. So I'm not really looking forward to it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I know zero about what's going on in NXT. So.
Yeah. Well, and it's still, I mean, their shows are usually pretty short. They're 4 to 5 matches, but they always seem to deliver. It'll be interesting to see if any of those title changes are done. We've got a couple of NXT people that have moved up. They've got the women's tournament that may accumulate at Night of Champions at NXT Battleground, and so we'll see a new champion there. What will they do with the women's tag champions? Because they're currently now on the main roster. You still got Braun Breaker breaking people's bodies in NXT, so I'm sure he'll probably have a match against someone. So lots of intrigue there. We'll at least talk about it, and we can make some picks anyway. Kyle, you just guess anyway, right? So
Yeah, I don't get anything right, so it doesn't matter.
Hey, it's a 50-50 show,
You at
right?
least know who the people are, so.
Yeah, that's true.
So, well, we'll have a show sometime before then, and hopefully everyone enjoyed tonight's show. We'd like to thank Matt for joining us tonight, and we're gonna have to send out a hashtag. Where is Jeremy? We're missing you, Jeremy. We've missed you the last 2 shows. I don't know what happened.
Be out on Jim.
Hopefully we can get him back with us and have another good roundtable discussion. For those of you listening or not subscribing to us, we're on all podcast platforms. So if you want to listen to us going down the road in your car, you can subscribe to the Disrespect Sports Network, and it'll have all our shows on that stream. Also, we're on the L4 Media YouTube channel, an audio version. And then, of course, our nice little video version we've got here that we're doing live tonight. So for our next episode, you just remember to follow us at YouTube. On our YouTube channel, we'll put the date and all that out for the next show. And that way you'll know when we're going to be live. And again, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight, and for Brandon and KO. I'm Brett. We'll catch you next time right here on the Disrespect Sports Network. Off the Ropes, episode 7. We'll catch you next time.
Tambaya. Holla.